Hey, on our spotlight segments here on KRWC, a couple of them for you today. We're going to lead off here in our special, or our first segment, our regular segment, with a guest we talk to at least once a year, sometimes more. Scott Chantlin is an organizer with the Gearhead Get-Together in Maple Lake, and he's back to preview this. We wanted to get it in early because this is going to be next Saturday, a week from Saturday, actually, but we want to get an opportunity to get the word out there. Good morning.
Good morning, sir. Thanks for having me.
Nice to have you back. We've got the swap show and meet that started how many years ago now?
Well, this is our 13th year of the official Gearhead Get-Together. Boy, I'm trying to think of when, I should go to our website and refresh my memory on our history of the year we actually started at the creamery there with just a little get-together and then days of old. But it is 13 years of the Gearhead Get-Together officially.
And this has become a really long drawing or wide range drawing event, and with good reason. It's kind of a celebration of everything mechanical, kind of.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head there. That's exactly what it is. There's people that say, "Oh my God, you guys are Minnesota's largest one-day car show." It's like, we're not a car show. We're really pushing that, and we don't need any. We don't need that. We're just. It's just a gathering of gearheads, and yeah, it's mostly cars, but we do have absolutely everything, and we really encourage people to bring out their unique, oddball, mechanical things, because that's what it's all about.
Yeah. What was the idea behind it to get started? I mean, what was the premise of it? And obviously, anything that gets to be this big and runs this many years, obviously, is popular. So you had to know that there was kind of a maybe a little pent-up demand for it.
Yeah, we found out. The thing that really struck a chord, I think, with the people that come to our event is one of our mottos. There's no plaques, no trophies. It's just a gathering of gearheads. And somehow that really struck a chord because people are so used. I mean, I grew up going to antique motorcycle swap meets and shows and car shows and tractor shows, and it was all about the plaques and the awards and all that, and you see these friendships ruined over a stupid little trophy, I mean, and trophies are great and awards are wonderful and competition is needed, but we struck a chord by no plaques, no trophies, and the fact that it's a free event too. It just, I think it brings back a time for people when they're learning that, hey, I'm a gearhead. I want to clean this carburetor and get it working great, and soup up my hot rod, and they're working with their friends, and that was what it was all about. And I think that's really what it's all about. And I hear year after year after year, oh my God, I saw so and so. I hadn't seen him in 12 years. And now it's their annual get together. So,
yeah. How many people make up? Do you have a board per se, or you got an organizing committee? I guess.
Yeah, we are a subgroup of the Maple Lake Chamber of Commerce, and we have a group. I'd have to look at an agenda, but it's got to be close to 20 people. And we have a core group of at least 10 that are consistent month after month that we meet. And then, of course, the day of the event, we get the Knights of Columbus on board with us as a group too to help direct traffic that day. But yeah, I would say our core group is 10 to 12, the people that are there every month, and then there's the other, like, satellite members, I'll call them, that come into our meetings when needed. But I say every year that I do less and more gets done. We've got within our committee, we've got our food coordinator and our swap meet coordinator and our merchandise coordinator. So it's really a phenomenal group of all volunteers. Nobody's making a dime doing this, and we're just all on the same road, going the right direction.
How long ago did the Maple Lake Chamber get involved? It's been a while now.
From day one.
Oh, okay.
Yep, it's been a chamber event from day one, and part of that is insurance, and it just makes it all easier. Kathy Hennon from the Maple Lake Lumber, she's the treasurer, and she does such a phenomenal job with our books and keeping track of our funds and our sponsorship and our ingoing and outgoing. So, yeah, we're so grateful for the Maple Lake Chamber of Commerce and their involvement.
Obviously, when you get 13 years into something that's as successful as this, you've got a pretty good template of what's going to happen, but you're always making little tweaks to it here and there.
We always want to keep it interesting and different, and of course, the big one this year is we are bringing back the Wall of Death, and we're always trying to change up music. We're consistent, but we try to tweak it a little here and there. So many people that come now, they know what they want when they get there, and they know where they want to park, and they know that they need to get there at 6:32 to make sure they get that spot, and so on and so forth. But it's yeah.
Which brings us to let's do kind of a radio map, if people can visualize this, of where the event takes place, because it's kind of multiple little sections.
It really is, and to say that we take over the town is an understatement, and it's also not. I mean, we take over, our downtown business district. We take over the city park, some residential streets. We estimated there was probably somewhere around 1,500 cars last year, and that takes up a lot of space. So where it all started was downtown, right on Birch Avenue, which is our main street business district, which was also struck a chord with people. It's like, wow, we're not at a fairgrounds, we're in a business district, in a small town, and that has a nice feel to it. But once we grew big enough and had to take over the city park, there's people that just love that. Like the shade trees are there, and of course we have food vendors throughout. And then on the south side of the tracks is the swap meet. So once you get there, everything's within walking distance. The only way you can have a golf cart or anything like that is if you are handicapped, and come to our registration tent, and we will give you a 8.5 by 11 sign to put on your golf cart to indicate that. But because it's so packed, I mean, there's times you see photos of our main street and it looks like the state fair. It's just these heads going up and down, and so we just can't have the all the vehicles and scooters and stuff like that. So yeah.
The less chaos, the better.
Yeah. But if you are, handicapped and you got a personal scooter, we encourage you to bring it. That doesn't take up any more room than a person. So yeah.
Talk a little bit about, I know it's kind of a mixture of everything, but some of the categories that you draw, and you've got a really cool full-color flyer here about this year's event that has some pictures of some rather unique vehicles.
Yeah, and I mean, it's my history is antique motorcycles, but like I say, I've grown up doing that, and old cars as well. So I mean, that's the real base of the event. But we've also had airplanes in town. I mean, our airport's a mile away, and we've tugged them in at 5 o'clock in the morning with the fire department's help. But it's so fun because we're not looking for shiny. So people will bring out their rusty old, tow trucks and the things that they built custom from scratch, whether it be a rat rod or a motorcycle or whatever. I mean, we've had plenty of lawnmowers and chainsaws and bicycles. It's everything.
Yeah, snowmobiles.
Snowmobiles, of course. Yeah, and in fact, we've been talking for years with the big snowmobile group that would like to have their annual big event, I think next year, maybe 2025, in conjunction with the Gearhead Get Together. So we'll see.
Yeah. Now, you had mentioned that there is no admission charge, so you just come in.
Yep.
And walk around to your heart's content.
Yep, exactly. We have I can't even. Our sponsors leave me speechless. I mean, we've raised more money this year than ever, which blows my mind. And if it's okay, we'll talk about those a little bit later. But the sponsorship is phenomenal, and because this is not a cheap event. I mean, to hire the Wall of Death to come is, not $100.
It's pricey.
Porta potties, tables, tents. All those things cost a lot of money. So we do a donation to our Knights of Columbus just because we're so grateful for what they do, and they give so much back to the community. So, it takes a lot to put it on, but that's the other thing, is we didn't want to ever do it halfway. We want to do it all the way, and we want people to be there, be comfortable. You don't hopefully have to walk too far to find a porta potty. So yeah, and stage rental, bands, it all costs money. But again, somehow we struck a chord, and our sponsors get that, and they keep giving. So
excellent. Talking about the Gearhead Get Together coming up August 17th. That's a week from Saturday in Maple Lake downtown. Scott Chantlin with us. Let's talk a little bit about your main attractions, if you will, for this year. The Wall of Death has been there before, but was not there last year.
Correct. Yep, it was. They were there 2 years running, and we took a break from them just because we like to change things up. And then last year we introduced the Powerhouse Dyno, which is a mobile dyno, so people can check their horsepower and torque and all that. But this year we've got them both. So we're going to be making all kinds of noise.
Now, describe the Wall of Death for those that they maybe have seen it or something like it and haven't even realized that they've seen it.
Yes. So what's so cool about having the Wall of Death in Maple Lake is that they are nowhere near here ever. If you go to Sturgis, you're going to see the Wall of Death. But as close as they get to us is probably Ohio. I was just in Ohio at a motorcycle event, and they were there. But they just do not get to the upper Midwest. And what they hear all day is, these elderly people coming up to them and saying, "Oh, my God, I haven't seen this since I was 13 years old at the state fair." Mm-hmm. And it just strikes a chord with people. And it's funny how there's people. So it's a 30-foot wooden silo that you stand at the top and you look down, and motorcycles are riding on it on a totally vertical wall. And that's all I'm going to say about it. Just come and see it. But I'm amazed at the people that have never seen the Wall of Death. They saw it the first time 3 years ago and are obsessed by it. There's people that are scared to death, but then there's people that are just obsessed, like, holy cow.
Yeah, it's really something. And the amazing thing is it's nothing new. I mean,
no.
It's been around
well over 100 years.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. And this is the Wall of Death that it runs in the oldest school way. It's there's plenty of Wall of Deaths around the world. There's probably maybe 3 in the United States, but this is the most old-fashioned one.
Authentic.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I remember seeing one in Winnipeg.
Okay.
On a band trip when I was in high school.
Sure.
And I was totally blown away. I mean, that was a long time ago, Scott, and I remember it vividly. So this is, I don't know if it was this one, but it was very similar.
Yeah. Yeah, it's something you don't forget.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're happy. And, they'll be performing every hour on the hour. That being said, they have performed more for us because there's such a lineup. So we're planning on every hour on the hour, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
And if you don't mind, Friday night we're actually doing a pre-party, and they're going to be performing then as well. So Dangerous Man Brewery, this is actually in conjunction with Gearhead, although we're not in charge of it, but Dangerous Man Brewery, who recently moved to Maple Lake, they're doing a pre-party from 4 to 9 on Friday. We've got Alexander Craig playing, who is formerly the Crankshaft and the Gear Grinders, and Wall of Death performances. So
Cool.
So that should be fun.
Do they use the vintage bikes, or do they use a combination of modern and? So
I think they have a still electric bicycle that will ride the wall, but the Indians that they ride, I think, are 30s.
Yeah.
Yeah, little sports scouts. I guess they worked out best for the Wall of Death because of the wheelbase of them. But then they have some 70s Harleys, and yeah.
Well, you start getting back to those 30s. I mean, those are getting to be nearly 100 years old now.
I know it. I know it. And they are like the Wall of Death bike. People love them for that purpose.
And you mentioned the dyno. I guess we got that kind of taken care of there. But do you tell them about registration on that?
Yeah, so it's up to you to register. When you get there, you go right to the Powerhouse Dyno, which will be directly across from the fire department. And you can get on his schedule, and then you'll line up on a back alley, and he'll tell you what to do at that point. But yeah, if you're interested in dynoing your vehicle, your car, I do not think he does motorcycles, so it'd have to be a four-wheel vehicle. he'll get you on the schedule and tell you what to do.
And quickly on the swap meet, that's kind of similar to the previous years?
Yep, south of the tracks, and we only accept gearhead-related items. We're not looking for somebody selling sunglasses or Tupperware or anything like that. So only gearhead items, please. And same as the event, you just roll in, and our volunteers will get you directed to the swap meet area, and it grows every year. And a couple of our committee members have been warning us that it's going to be bigger this year because they're spreading the word. And I think there's people of a certain age that are kind of phasing out and realize that they're not going to get to certain projects, so they're going to bring them to Gearhead for sale.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Music, you got some good stuff here.
Yeah, we do. Two bands. Both have played Gearhead before, but we'll start off with the Star Chiefs. They're playing from 10:30 to 1:30, and they played their first time last year. And they're just a lot of fun. Three-piece band, stand-up bass, rockabilly. We got rave reviews on them. It was funny when they came into town last year. And until you've been to Gearhead, you have no idea. Like, they're thinking it's a little festival. And him just to get his car into town near the stage was a process, and he was a little frazzled. But once they got going, they were fired up, and they lit up the stage.
So his eyes got a little big there, kind of.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, but then from 2 to 5 o'clock we have the Everett Smithson Band, and I think a lot of people in this area know Everett Smithson. And he's played Gearhead, but at the city park. Okay. And now that we have a remote sound system, we don't have a band at the park, because with the remote speakers, we've got the sound and announcements playing throughout town. So
yeah, pretty cool. So even if you're not at the stage, you can still hear the music.
Absolutely. Yep. And our DJ, Mr. Larkham from here in town, he's does a phenomenal job in making announcements and reminding everybody what's happening and when and where.
Yep. Well, he's an integral part here at the station always, too. So
good. Yeah, he's a great guy. Yeah.
Sum it up here for us. Well, you want to mention all the sponsors. Let's get those in.
It's hard to do them all, but I'm going to run through some here of our grand sponsors. From Buffalo, Norm's Wayside. He's been our biggest sponsor, and it's basically the fact that he's a gearhead. If you've ever been to Norm's, you see that. Rivers Garage, right in Maple Lake, he does precision machining. O'Sullivan Cattle, that's a new grand sponsor this year. Junction Towing, right here in Buffalo as well. DM Mechanical. Vite Automotive Foundation, they're a big supporter of ours, and they're going to be doing a young builders build-off. So there'll be teenagers bringing their custom cars that they're building, and they're sponsoring that. So French Lake Auto Parts, that's a no-brainer. Holt Motors, Cedar Lake Metal Solutions right in Maple Lake, MP, which is one of our biggest businesses in Maple Lake, M&M Express, Maurice Ford here from Buffalo, the Maple Lake Lions, Hans Locating. Becky is actually a member of our group. Vicky Green with Remax, Lundeen, Ford, Bernatello's Pizza, another Maple Lake business, Spray Foam Insulation Systems, Oak Realty, The Butchery, he's a big sponsor. He actually sponsors our stage there. Lozy Transfer, and Herculift. Herculift actually donates all the lifts that we have our speakers on. And then Lozy Transfer, he's kind enough to donate the billboards for us that are on they're not on Highway 55, but on Division and 55. So, yeah. And I just encourage you to go to our website and check out all of our sponsors. And if you have an opportunity to support them in any way, please do, and tell them thank you, for sponsoring the Gearhead. So.
Yep. And they're on all the posters, so make sure you spend a second and take a look at all of that.
Yeah.
The website again is
where is it? Gearhead. It's www.gear-headgettogether.com.
And that'll tell you all the information. Again, a free event as always, and best advice on the parking.
Thank you for bringing that up, because we are going to have the Maple Lake High School parking again and shuttles going all day long. So that is going to probably be your easiest, although I think that lot filled up last year. So residential streets on the west side down towards M&M. You can park on Division there.
So the shuttle buses is probably the easiest way to avoid the congestion, and from there it's basically kind of where you can find.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or what we tell a lot of people that they'll complain that they had to walk so far is said, just drive something cooler.
and be in it.
And park in it, you know. And honestly, if you've got your grandma's 1988 Caprice Classic station wagon, bring it in.
Yeah.
You know, we'd love to see that. So,
I'd really like. I'm a wagon head, so I'd really like.
I
to
love
see that.
wagons. I
Yeah.
love wagons. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, and that's what we really encourage. It doesn't have to be a pristine, polished, you know, classic car.
All
So,
right.
yeah.
Well, Scott, always a pleasure to talk to you.
too.
So this is a week from Saturday, the
August
17th,
Yep.
in Maple Lake. And you get started at what time?
You know, we on our posters and all of our marketing, we say 8 a.m. to 6. You know, we're on the ground earlier than that. We have swappers showing up around 5:30 so that they can get set up. And so, yeah, it's
Officially 8
Yep.
and officially 6.
Yes,
We're doing air
that's-
quotes here. But
exactly. Yep.
it'll be a little before and a little after.
Yep.
So.
Yep. And the music is done at 5, and people tend to linger around for a while. So
Yeah, plenty to eat and beverages and
Oh my God, yeah.
local restaurants.
Yep, and I think we added another 2 food vendors this year. Yeah, and all the restaurants are open that day. And what I love is I just haven't experienced any food vendor gouging. You know, like if you go to an event at the fairgrounds or something like that, it's like, what, $8 for a Coke, you know, or whatever. So it's just the Lions, they'll have 3 different booths set up, you know, doing burgers and beverages and a huge variety of food options.
Sounds good. Well, all we got to do now is hope for a good day. So
Yes.
No more rain. At
No
least that
more
day, right?
rain.
All right, Scott, thanks so much for being here today.
Thank you.
That is part 1 of our spotlight here today on KRWC. In part 2,